Before you leave office, will you let us know if there's aliens? Because this is the only thing I really want to know. I want to know what's going on. Will you ever open up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there?
So many people ask me that question.
I know, it sounds almost ridiculous, but it's actually the real question I want to know.
It sounds like a cute question, but it's actually, there are millions and millions of people that want to go there, that want to see it. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting. But Roswell's a very interesting place with a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
So you're saying you may declassify?
Oh.
You'll take it?
Well, I'll have to think about that one.
Nobody in the UFO world ignores this name. Maximilien de Lafayette, a man surrounded by mystery, a man who barely exists online. For over 50 years, he published relentlessly, hundreds of books across wildly different fields: film, music, quantum theory, and then the unsettling ones. UFOs, aliens, things most people avoid. Here's what makes it strange. You can't find him. No real background, no clear history, almost no public appearances. Just one detail keeps showing up. He spoke 22 languages fluently. That's it. That's all you get. And then one interview changed everything. Years ago, he appeared on a program, a rare moment, one of the only times he faced questions. A guest asked him directly, "Where do you get your information?" Simple question, dangerous answer. He paused, then said something chilling. "If I tell you my sources, this might be the last time you see me." The room froze. People laughed it off, thought it was for drama, TV theatrics. But what if it wasn't? Because inside his books, there were patterns, disturbing ones. People who spoke about these topics didn't end well. Some were threatened, some disappeared, some died. One name stands out: Philip Schneider, a man who claimed something impossible. In the 1990s, he spoke publicly, again and again, about a secret underground base, Dulce. He claimed humans fought aliens there, an actual conflict. He said people died. He said he was nearly killed. And then he said something else: "I will never commit suicide." Just weeks later, he was found dead. Official cause? Suicide. That's when things stopped feeling normal. And Lafayette's books? They go even further. He didn't just talk about UFOs. He redefined them. According to him, UFOs are not vehicles. They are time machines. Let that sink in. And the grays everyone talks about? Not aliens. Machines. Biological robots. No emotions. No expressions. Suddenly, that blank face makes sense. But here's the part that hits harder. He claimed something 20 years ago, something people ignored. That one day, we wouldn't just see UFOs. We would see USOs, unidentified submerged objects, because their bases are underwater, not in the sky, below you. And then comes a turning point. A crash. July 4th, 1947. A violent storm hits New Mexico, near a missile testing site. White sands. Lightning tears across the sky. Radar operators notice something strange. A bright object, moving fast, too fast. Minutes later, another detection, near Roswell Army Airfield. This isn't coincidence. At the time, the Cold War is rising, tension everywhere. So the military reacts immediately. F-80 fighter jets are deployed. They lock onto the object. But then, something impossible happens. The object accelerates, instantly, then vanishes, then reappears somewhere else. Not flying, jumping. The pilots try to chase it. They can't. Not even close. The F-80's top speed? 933 kilometers per hour. Whatever they saw was faster, much faster. Then it disappears completely. Gone. Silence. 2 days later, everything changes. A rancher named Mac Brazel finds something. Scattered across his land. Metal debris. Not normal wreckage. Thin. Light. Too light. He brings it to the sheriff, George Wilcox. The military gets involved immediately. They send Major Jesse Marcel, intelligence officer. He examines the material, and what he describes doesn't make sense. The metal bends, but doesn't stay bent. It snaps back perfectly, like it remembers its shape. But here's the problem. Memory metals weren't invented yet, not until the 1970s. So what was he holding? Marcel takes the debris back to base. But before analysis is complete, another report comes in. Something bigger. A crash site, just a few kilometers away. Marcel rushes there. What he sees isn't a plane. It's a disc, a flying disc. And then the headline explodes across America. The Army has captured a flying saucer. It spreads fast, too fast. Public shock, media frenzy. But then, 6 hours later, everything flips. The military holds a press conference. They say it was all a mistake. Not a UFO, just a weather balloon. They even release photos to prove it. And just like that, the story dies. People move on, forget, case closed. Or, at least, that's what they wanted you to believe. Because decades later, someone starts digging again. And that's when everything begins to unravel. What really crashed in Roswell? And why did they change the story so fast? Because once you start pulling this thread, you don't know where it ends. And some people never make it back. More than 30 years pass. Silence. Then in 1978, everything comes back. A nuclear physicist steps forward, Stanton Friedman. Not a conspiracy theorist, not a random voice, a serious scientist. And he starts asking questions, real questions, about Roswell. He tracks down witnesses, people who were there, and then he finds Jesse Marcel, the same officer from 1947, now older, but still sharp. And this time, he tells a different story. The photos of the weather balloon, fake, staged. He says what he recovered was not from Earth, not even close. He described the material again. You couldn't destroy it. Hit it with a hammer, it bounces back. Burn it, nothing happens. Cut it, impossible. And he says something else. I handled the most advanced aircraft materials, and this was nothing like them. That's when doubt becomes something heavier, because Marcel wasn't alone. Another name surfaces, Thomas Dubose, a high-ranking officer. He confirms it. The balloon story? A cover, ordered from above, more classified than top secret. Now the story is changing. Not rumors, not speculation. Inside voices. Then comes something darker. Friedman uncovers another layer. Multiple witnesses claim there were bodies, not human. At the crash site, 3 dead, 1 alive. And suddenly, this isn't just about a crash. It's about contact. He keeps digging, finds more names, more stories. Gerald Anderson, a civilian witness. He says he saw it with his own eyes. A silver disc embedded in the ground, and near it, for small beings, 2 clearly dead, 1 badly injured, 1 moving, alive. Imagine that moment. You walk up expecting wreckage, and instead, you see something looking back at you. Not human. Then another witness speaks. Glenn Dennis, a mortician. He says the military contacted him, asked for small coffins, 3 of them. Why would they need that? He delivers them, and at the base, he notices something strange. Security is intense, unusual. Then someone warns him, you didn't see anything. Leave now, and don't talk. Not a suggestion, a threat, and it doesn't stop there. A local radio director, Jed Roberts, he receives a call from Washington. They know what he knows, and they make it clear. If you broadcast this, you lose everything. License gone. Career gone. Silence spreads again. But Friedman doesn't stop. He builds a timeline, piece by piece. July 4th, 1947. Radar detects unknown object. Storm hits. Explosion heard. July 5th, debris discovered. July 6th, reported to authorities. July 7th, military collects materials. July 8th, second crash site found. Disc, bodies. Then lockdown. Story replaced. Files hidden. Everything buried. But one question keeps growing. What happened to the survivor? Because multiple witnesses mention the same thing. One being was alive, taken by the military, transported somewhere else. No records, no confirmation, just silence. And then, years later, another layer emerges. Maximilien de Lafayette. His writings describe something chilling. He claims the survivor didn't die. It was studied, communicated with, not through speech, but telepathy. Only certain people could understand it. So the military built something, devices, a voice box, to translate its thoughts into English, and another device to send human language back, a bridge between species. If that's true, everything changes, because that means there was a conversation, not just observation, not just fear, but exchange. And according to those records, a meeting took place. 1948, a controlled environment. Scientists, military leaders, linguists, all gathered to talk to something not from Earth. And what it said would shake everything we believe, because it didn't describe itself as alive. At least, not in the way you understand. And if that part is true, then Roswell wasn't just a crash. It was a beginning of something much bigger, something hidden, something still not fully revealed. And now the question isn't what crashed. It's, what did we learn from it? And more importantly, why are we still not allowed to know? The meeting begins in silence. Not fear, not chaos. Something colder, controlled. In a secured room, they face it. Not a monster, not a god. Something still, small, fragile looking, but wrong. Completely wrong. No expression, no emotion, just presence. And then they realize something. It's not speaking, not with a mouth, not with sound. The communication hits differently, direct, inside the mind. Telepathy, only a few can feel it. The rest sit there, watching, waiting. So they activate the device, the voice box, a machine translating thoughts into words. And finally, it speaks. My name cannot be understood. First sentence, already unsettling. It continues. We do not use language, because where it comes from, sound doesn't exist. No atmosphere, no air, no need for speech. Then it says something stranger. We are not physical life. That lands hard. Not physical? Then what are they looking at? The being explains. The body in front of them is just a shell, a frame, a machine, something it can leave any time. Imagine hearing that in that room. A living thing calling itself non-living. Then it gets worse. We do not eat. We do not breathe. We do not feel pain. Everything that defines life, gone. And yet, it says it has emotions, but not like humans. No facial expressions, no visible reaction. Emotion exists only in the mind. And if you could connect, you would feel it. Then comes a question. Are you sad your companions died? The room goes quiet. The answer? There is no death. That stops everything. The meeting pauses, because now nothing makes sense. They check the machine. Maybe it's broken. Maybe it's mistranslating. But then a telepath confirms it. That is exactly what it meant. No death, only transition. And suddenly, the room isn't just confused. It's shaken. Because if death doesn't exist, then what are humans? The being continues. This body is temporary. If damaged, it dissolves. And we move to another, not survival, replacement, like switching vehicles. And that's when the realization hits. This isn't a visitor. It's a pilot operating a biological machine. Then it looks at them and says something even more disturbing. You are machines too. The room reacts immediately. Some reject it, some freeze. But it explains. Human bodies are systems. Flesh, bones, nerves. A different type of machine. Less efficient, more fragile, but still a machine. That idea spreads through the room, and something shifts because it makes sense in a way people don't want to admit. Then the conversation turns to technology, to the craft, the UFO, and what it says changes everything again. It is not a vehicle, not transportation. It is a time-space machine, a device that moves through dimensions, not distance. It doesn't fly. It shifts through a tunnel, a corridor in space-time, and then a gate, a window, open only briefly. If you miss it, you crash, not into the ground, into the closing edge of time itself. That's what happened, according to it. Not a failure, a miscalculation, a collision with something humans can't even see. Then comes the next revelation. We have always been here. Not visiting, not arriving, already here, hidden, watching. And then the reason. Why Earth? Why this place? The answer is uncomfortable. Earth is a collection point for unstable consciousness, a dumping ground, a testing field for what it calls non-compliant entities, souls that failed elsewhere, sent here to learn, to evolve, or to repeat again and again. Different lives, same cycle. It describes categories: war starters, manipulators, obsessive followers, those who abuse technology, all sent here to reset, to understand, to face consequences. And then it reveals something else: a system above Earth, an invisible barrier, a plasma field holding everything in place, preventing escape, containing consciousness, like a prison, a planetary cage. The room goes silent again, because if that's true, then this isn't just a meeting. It's a warning, and maybe a confession. The being says one last thing: this will not last forever. The system will collapse. The barrier will break. And when it does, everything changes, but not before chaos. War, climate collapse, human conflict, necessary steps, not accidents, triggers to force awareness, to wake humanity up. And then it stops. The session ends. No clear answers, only bigger questions. Because now they're not asking what it is. They're asking, what are we? And if even part of this is true, then the real mystery isn't aliens. It's reality itself. After that meeting, nothing was the same. But nothing was revealed either. Everything stayed buried, locked behind classified walls. And yet, pieces kept leaking out. Witness by witness, story by story. Some sounded insane. Others, too consistent to ignore. Because even decades later, people were still talking, still remembering, still afraid. Then the government responds. 1993. For the first time, they admit something. Roswell wasn't a weather balloon. So the story changes, but not in the way you expect. In 1994, an official investigation is launched. The U.S. Air Force steps in. They release a report, and what they claim sounds cleaner, safer, controlled. They say it was Project Mogul, a classified surveillance program, high-altitude balloons, designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Secret mission, hidden technology. So when it crashed, people misunderstood it. That's their explanation. Simple. Too simple. Because it doesn't answer everything. Not even close. What about the bodies? Witnesses saw them. Multiple people. Military personnel. Civilians. All describing the same thing. Small. Thin. Not human. The Air Force responds again. Those weren't bodies. They were dummies. Test mannequins. Used for high-altitude parachute experiments. Problem solved. Except it isn't, because those tests happened later. 1950s. Not 1947. Different timeline. Wrong decade. Even reporters notice it. They ask directly, how can mannequins explain 1947 sightings? The answer? We may have mixed timelines. That's it. That's the explanation. And for many people, that's where trust breaks. Because now, it feels like damage control, not truth. And the more you look, the stranger it gets. Because the witnesses weren't random. They weren't untrained. Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer, access to advanced materials. He knew what he was looking at. And he still said, I've never seen anything like it. Even decades later, he never changed that statement. Not once. So now you're left with two realities. The official one and the one told by witnesses. They don't match. Not even close. And in between, there's a gap. A missing truth that no one fully controls. Then something else happens. More theories emerge. Some grounded. Some far beyond that. Like Lafayette's claims that the craft wasn't just technology, but something beyond human understanding. A time-space machine. That the beings weren't alive. At least not physically. That Earth itself is part of a system. A controlled environment. And suddenly, Roswell isn't just a crash. It's a clue. A fragment of something bigger. But here's the real problem. There is no final answer. No proof that closes a case. Only layers, contradictions, and questions that refuse to go away. What did crash in Roswell? Why did the story change so fast? Why were witnesses silenced? Why do their accounts match, even years apart? And the biggest one, if something survived, where did it go? Because no official record answers that. No confirmed location. No verified outcome. Just silence. And that silence is louder than any explanation. Because when the truth is simple, it doesn't need rewriting. But this story was rewritten immediately, within hours. That alone raises questions. Then decades later, it gets rewritten again. Different excuse. Different version. Same lack of clarity. And that's where the mystery stays alive. Not because of aliens, not because of theories, but because of inconsistency. Because something happened. That much is undeniable. Radar tracked it. Pilots chased it. Debris was recovered. Witnesses spoke. The military responded. Then they changed everything. And once a story changes that fast, you have to ask why. Because maybe the truth isn't hidden by accident. Maybe it's buried on purpose. And maybe it's still buried today. So now it comes back to you. What do you believe? A weather balloon? A classified project? Or something else entirely? Because until every piece is revealed, Roswell will never be just history. It will always be a question. One that keeps pulling people in. One that refuses to disappear. And maybe that's the point. Because some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only remembered. And if even a fraction of this is real, then the world you think you know is only part of the story.